Once again, are we refreshed? Looking forward to the next session? Yes. So the next session is on IPR. It focuses on IPR and technology licensing. We are fortunate to have Dr. H. Purushottam, Chairman and Managing Director, National Research Development Corporation. We also have Mr. Vikrant Rana, Managing Partner, SSRANA, and co-patent trademark copyright design filing in India. We also have Dr. Malti Lakshmi Kumaran, Director, Lakshmi Kumaran and Sridharan, Attorney. I'd request Professor B. Gurumurthy, DIC Coordinator, IISc Bangalore, to moderate the session for us, please. Thank you so much.
Good evening and welcome to this panel discussion on patents and technology licensing. We have a very distinguished panel with us. So without much ado, I just wanted to say that the way we're going to run this is as follows, that each of our panel members will have an opening statement, roughly about 7 minutes each, and then we are open for questions after that. So, that's how we're going to do this. So let me start by requesting Dr. Malti Janakiraman to have the opening remarks.
Okay. Yeah. I have a presentation.
Go ahead, yeah, if you have a presentation.
Yeah, I'm not, I want to be, I'm not going to take too much time. And, but basically I thought we talk about designs. With IPR, you have different forms of IPR. So it can be a patent, it can be trademark, it can be designs. There are others like plant variety protection and others. But I thought let's talk about designs, which may be very important. And also what's the difference between a design and a patent. So this design actually protects an aesthetic, it protects the aesthetic appeal of a finished product or article. And when companies are competing at an equal pace and functionality, design is one of the important differential that really matters. And so why protect industrial designs? Because they're attractive, they're appealing to the customers, and the design drives the consumer's choice. The appearance of the product is the most important factor for an industrial design. The success or failure of a product may rest at least partially on how it looks, and therefore industrial designs are very important. And when you do protect your industrial designs under IPR, there is, so if you take a phone, it has a lot of patents, but you also have a lot of things. Trademark, you also have a design. Like if you think of an iPhone, I'll just come to that. So when you protect industrial designs, what are the advantages? Some people say, why can't I protect it by copyright? So what's the difference? So one, you have exclusive rights. It protects you. The protection provides exclusive rights for your designs, at least for 10 years. You can extend it further. and it can stop or prevent others from copying your industrial design. And there's also a return on investment, because when you protect it, you can definitely try to sell it at a higher cost. And there's also opportunity to license and sell your industrial design. I just want to take just few minutes and not take, I would prefer to ask more questions. So what really is a design? Sometimes people, can anything be a design? So one, it has to be applied to an article. A design cannot be an idea. You have to correlate your design with the product. It can be in 2-dimension, 3-dimension. It can be by an industrial process, but it needs to appeal to the eye, and it has to have aesthetic value. You need to exclude the trademarks, property mark, artistic works. It does not cover the function or the principle on how the product works. It's basically the aesthetic appeal of the finished product. The minute you're going to confuse the function with the design, then you don't get a design patent, you get a utility patent. So this is very important, because a lot of times when I work with people who want a design, they'll say, because of this design, it has a function. Please be very careful. You have to separate out the function with your design. The design is purely aesthetic appeal. And once you have that, you are clear. So let me just come to some of the designs and shapes. You all know. So you can get designs for a whole lot of things. It can be for the way an iron works. But basically, a lot of things that happen with, there's a lot of fight going on between Apple and Samsung. And those are not the, a phone may have more than 4,000 or 5,000 patents in it. But the fight for the Apple Samsung was the design. The design, the appeal, and that went into millions of dollars where they got damages, is how the whole iPhone looks, where is the button, and so on. I mean, there's a curvature and the whole appeal. The whole aesthetic design is what you get your protection, but not for the function of the phone per se. So remember, everywhere that you have these different designs, it's for an aesthetic appeal. So it can be for product. Just as I said, a design has to be with a product. You can have for textiles. It can be for different designs in the textile. It doesn't have to say what the product is, as long as it's a design. And it can be for jewelry. And so some people say, oh, I do it by 3D printing. 3D printing and everything is a function, is a way to do it. What you actually are doing is the final aesthetic design, the appeal that you want, and these are some of the things. And so we have to be very careful, no function, it's just the aesthetic appeal with the final. It can be different color combinations, and it need not be only with jewelry and clothes and textiles and so on, but it can also be for medical devices. So what can it be for? Like a syringe. The way the syringe is designed, the way the tablet or the capsule is designed, and it can be for the way you have an inhaler, the way the design is there. All these you can get a design patent. So many times I work with inventors, and they're so full of their invention, we did this, we did that. They do come up with designs, but they completely miss out on those designs. And they really don't think that design has to be so important. And so it's very important that you have good inventions in medical devices. You also need to work with good designers, because finally the product that sells out is not only on the function, but the final design and the appeal of it. So you can have designs for syringes, bulbs, mobile phones, the way the air conditioners, motorcycle, water purifiers, and so on. So it has to be for an article. It can be for many things like packages, jewelry, electronics. But what is not a design? So like a book jacket, any work of architecture is not a design. You can get a copyright for your drawings, but you cannot. Designs which are contrary to public order and morality, scandalous, computer chips, IC designs, these do not have, you cannot get a design for that. And so what are the essential requirements? A design should be new and original. It should be distinguished from the other designs. and it should be capable of being applied to an article, and the appeal is very, very important. I've already said what are not designs. I think with this I'd like to stop, and so that if there are other questions, I have others, we can talk later, but I do not want to take more time. Thank you.
Good evening, friends and distinguished panelists on the dais. I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and especially I would like to thank all of you for staying. Without you, no purpose of ours will be served. So my special thanks to all of you for your keen interest to learn something new from all the distinguished panelists here. My compliments to all of you. I think in these 2 days, we are going to learn really the many innovative things. In the current knowledge economy, we need to understand how the intellectual properties are important. It is a currency of the future, is a intangible assets. How do you value them and how do you trade them? So it's very, very important understanding intellectual property rights in the current era of knowledge economy. And the Ministry of Human Resource Development has taken a great initiative to introduce this concept in many of these institutions in the name of design institutions or centers, what you call the hub and spoke model. Many things have been established. It's a wonderful concept. And the students particularly, the faculty members particularly, needs to be educated on these aspects. The culture of innovation needs to be built. It is only possible through such kind of initiatives. So you are all very fortunate to get to know various government initiatives, and I think in the next 2 days, many great speakers are going to share their experiences. They're going to teach you what are the differences between all these intellectual property rights. You see, a product can have even more than one IP. Okay? It need not be only protected through patent, it need not be only protected through copyright, it need not be protected only through design. For example, if you look at a simple pressure cooker, what we use in our day-to-day life, it has been covered by so many patents, so many design, so many trademarks and copyrights. So the more number of intellectual property rights the product encompasses, it is more stubborn and it is not amenable for copying. Why we need to do all these things? Because it gives a protection for your innovative idea. So if the idea or the product or the technology is protected through more number of intellectual property rights, it is more stubborn and more people cannot copy it. Similarly, if you look at a simple toothpaste, again it has got so many IPs in it. The design and the composition, the paste is a chemical composition that is a patent. And what has been written there on the tubes, the style of writing, that is a copyright. The shape of the tube is a design. So all these intellectual properties can be embedded in any one of the product or a system. So that is what I think you need to understand. Coming to NRDs, I would also like to take this opportunity to explain. See, you have many ideas. So how do you implement them, or how do you get, which is the institutional mechanism you have to convert your ideas or convert your new innovations into all these intellectual property rights? There are many organizations in this country. NRDs is one of the premier and a pioneer in this country. NRDs has been established in the year 1953 with a mandate to protect intellectual property rights. Even before the Patent Act came into existence, NRDC has been given the mandate to popularize or to create awareness about intellectual property rights in this country. And once intellectual property rights are created and granted, what next? They need to be monetized, they need to be commercialized, they need to be taken to the society. So NRDC has also been given a mandate to commercialize these intellectual property rights. NRDC over the years has protected more than 2,000 patents and trademarks, and we have also commercialized more than 5,000 patents in this country as well as in abroad. Many of the products probably which you might be seeing in the market have been licensed by NRDC. For example, the Amul baby milk powder, which we all use as a substitute for mother's milk, that technology was licensed by NRDC. Similarly, the tractors what we see in the market, the Swaraj tractor, the Sonalika International tractors. We license these technologies, they license these intellectual property rights to entrepreneurs who can produce products and create wealth and employment opportunities. So like that, NRDC has licensed more than 5,000 technologies. These are some of the products. For example, the indelible ink, now this is election season. We all vote. When you go for a vote, they put an ink on our finger to identify you already voted, you cannot vote till next election comes. The ink technology was again developed by one of our CSR lab, NPL, that has been licensed to one company in Mysore, which is producing and exporting the ink to more than 30 countries. So these are all the innovations, okay? Similarly, coming to the designs, 2-3 designs also we are most popular things, artificial heart valve, which was developed by Sri Chitra Institute of Medical Science, Thiruvananthapuram, that was patented by NRDC, and also we licensed that technology to many companies, including TTK Healthcare. This company is produced, and about 1 lakh heart valves have been already implanted in our Indian patients. So what I would like to sum up and submit to all of you is that NRDC is created by Government of India to help the original inventors to protect their IPs. If you have a brilliant idea, either it could be a patent, it could be a trademark, it could be a design, we will help you to file patents free of cost. Government of India gives grants to us for encouraging filing these patents and intellectual property rights. So any one of you have got a brilliant idea, you please come to us, we will help you. And once we also protected it, we got a patent right, we will also help you in commercializing that intellectual property right so that industry gets benefit. And as an inventor, you will also get benefit. Once we license this know-how or the patent to any entrepreneur, we also get a technology licensing fee, and also we collect royalty from the sale of that product. So bulk of that amount, what we collect as a royalty, we will plow it back to the inventors. About 70 to 80% of the money what we collect in the form of a royalty and licensing fee, we plow it back to the inventors. So this is a kind of wonderful institutional mechanism is available. And another important challenge or thing is that you have done something innovative, but recognizing that or validating that whether it is patentable, whether it is design protected, is very, very important. So many of the times we may not be able to differentiate or able to establish yourself whether it can be patented, whether it can be design protected. You need expertise. So that kind of expertise NRDC provides and tells you your idea is a novel or not. Again, of course, there is a criteria has been defined in the Indian Patent Act. What could be patented, what cannot be patented, or what could be design protected, Madam has already mentioned. So against that criteria, the expertise available with NRDC and many other institutions, they will tell you whether it is patentable or not, whether the IP can be protected or not. So that kind of a thing also we can provide. So we have got around 100 people working in NRDC, helping only to the inventors to protect their intellectual property rights and commercializing their intellectual property rights. We are also part of the Startup India mission of Government of India. So any one of you wanted to set up ventures based on your innovative ideas, we can also help you in connecting to the Startup India mission. And also we are managing 1 or 2 funds of the startup. For example, Indian Oil Corporation has come up with a 100 crores startup fund. So that we are managing. If you have a brilliant idea which can benefit the society, Indian Oil Corporation gives a grant, 1 to 3 crores grant to test your idea to a proof of concept level. Once that is proof of concept is established and Indian Oil finds it useful to the society, they can buy you your technology or your company, or you yourself can practice that, establish your own company. Because they are funded, they may seek some kind of a royalty out of the revenues what you have generated. So a lot of opportunities are available in the government systems, but unfortunately many people are not aware, and our conferences like this definitely will help all of us to get connected to each other, taking the innovation culture in our country. Most of you are also aware, India is not very much ahead in IPR filings. I think this kind of initiatives will help us to increase our filing rate. India hardly, I think in our Indian Patent Office, only some 50,000 IPRs have been filed, particularly the patents. We are very much behind compared to China, which files around 10 lakh patents every year. America files around about 7 lakh patents. but whereas India only 50,000. In that 50,000 also, about 75 to 80% applications are filed by the foreign countries. Only 20% of the applications filed in Indian Patent Office are from Indians. So this is also another weakness in our system. We need to increase our filings. How do we increase our filings? Unless all of you take this message and create the culture of filing in patents or IPRs in our respective institutions, India cannot raise its bar on this intellectual property rights. So this is very, very important. I would like to stop at this point of time. I would like to answer some of your questions if you have any to clarify. And at the end of the day, any conference, you should go with one or two good takeaways. That is very, very important. At least, if you are not able to learn, at least learn to ask one or two good questions. If you are able to learn that or develop that habit, asking good questions, that is also a big takeaway. And that way, from your question, not only you will learn, many others also will be able to learn. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here. I have a small presentation on IPR and licensing. I would be delving more on the numbers side. We have heard Dr. Malti speak about what can be a design and what should be there. I would be talking more on the numbers growth. I can skip that. So this is, like he mentioned earlier, the kind of filings we have in India. We don't have that kind of filings in India to say we are really an innovation-based economy right now. The trademarks are the only IP rights where we could see some numbers like almost touching 3 lakh trademarks being filed in 1 year. Whereas patents, like you mentioned, it's around 50,000, 55,000 patents being filed in 1 year in India. And out of those, almost 70% are filed by foreign entities. So we don't see any filings of that numbers coming from the Indian scientists or academia there. Designs is a very poor cousin there. Designs, we don't even have 12,000 designs being registered in 1 year from a population of 1.3 billion. That's a pity. It's really a pity that we don't see that number at all. And out of those 10,000 odd designs, we have around 7,000 designs are, I think, coming from India. Rest all are actually foreign designs. This is on patents. If you could see, out of 45,000 odd patents, 15,000 are only Indian-based patents, whereas 30,000 are from foreign. What kind of technology are we looking at? So out of those files, 20,000 odd would be around electrical, electronics and related subjects, 15,000 mechanical engineering, 9,500 chemistry, and the rest would be less than 2,000. Top 5 in patentees, CSIR, Defense, then Samsung, Unilever, and IIT. This is the 5 institutes from India, the top 5 filers. IIT is coming together at 400 patents, MIT 106, ISC 54, 50 and 49. So these are the designs I was talking about. I mean, the designs are less than 11,000. In fact, there has been a dip in the last couple of years. And out of those, we see more of them being from India, but still quite a less compared from the design students and schools in India. Good. Okay, number of designs in the 16, 17, maximum number of designs filed by Indian has been by Sabyasachi 308, Siddhi Vinayak 242, Siddharth Bindra 151, Tube Investments 112, and BBAP. So we see, I mean, out of the top 5, I think the 3 are in the apparel industry, the fashion industry. We don't see any other industries in the top 5. And number 4 is cycles. I can see. Okay. And by university, this is also a big surprise in the sense that from BHU there is no design filings at all. They have 112 patent filings for the year. IITs, they have almost 4,000, 3,500 patent filings. They have filed 59 designs, but and DIC has 5 designs. We couldn't find any designs for SPA, unfortunately. But so I would take it as an opportunity that there are very less design filings designs, but we should be looking at more of these filed by students. One of the recommendations we had made to the National IPR Task Force was that students, when they're entering into a design school, they should be, as part of their curriculum, they could be made to file a design application of any new product they have designed, and thereby they could understand the design process, what kind of issues can crop up, and how to deal with those. And like they mentioned, designs and patents. The one thing very important as students or business should know that for designs and patents, they have to be filed before they are made public. That is very crucial. If you publish your own design or patent anywhere before you file it, you would be destroying your own novelty. I remember Dr. Mashilkar's statement, publish and perish, patent and prosper. So that's very important that we do patent and prosper those things. Otherwise, you put yourself in danger by putting your own inventions or design in the public domain, and you cannot have a monopoly on that, and you cannot stop anyone from using those designs. So the link is patent awareness, then patent filing, and then comes patent monetization. I think we're talking about IPR licensing, but I believe we are still we are still on the first two steps here. We are still talking about awareness. We don't see the numbers here. The numbers are very negligible of 15,000 and 6,000 designs and patents from India. That is 21,000 patents or designs filed by Indians in 1 year. So we don't. I believe the patent awareness per se, or IPR awareness per se is very low as of now in India. So patent filing is increasing, but unless we have more awareness, it won't go up. And even if you have patent filed or granted patents, there is no fund if those patents cannot be monetized. So you may have 21,000 patents filed. It could be that there could be 10,000 patents granted, but how many are monetized? That would be the big question, because finally in the end, you don't want to be ending up with one piece of paper which doesn't help you in any way. So that patent monetization is the crucial thing. That's where the technology transfer would come in. Like we heard the speaker in the morning say that everybody may not be an entrepreneur. It is important to identify that this is a technology which I have created. Is it better to license it out or sell it out to make money from that? And why technology transfer? How does the licensee benefit? It's a fast access to a certain market, access innovative technologies and expertise without developing, so the company can buy or take a license on something which they have not developed. They can just pick it off the shelf, which is ready to market. Rights to products and process whose effectiveness has been proved, so they can pick up something which they know has already been a good response in the market. And the cons could be that the technology could be obsolete. There could be high royalties involved. The license could become technologically dependent, so you could be dependent on that particular technology for some time. In case of non-exclusive license, competitors could also get to use the same technology. This is a cycle, I would say, identifying technology, evaluating technology, securing technology, protecting it, prototype, and technology awareness, and then product-specific training. Very briefly, I'll just refer very briefly to categories. It could be horizontal technology transfer, where near maturity technology may shift between countries through licensing, vertical technology transfers, international technology transfers, regional technology transfers, cross-industry technology transfers, and the likes. What's important to know when you're having a technology transfer or a IPR licensing deal, right? I mean, it's important, like I said, that you don't disclose. We have proper NDAs in place before you talk about your design or a patent to a third party. License agreements should be vetted. Preferably through a lawyer who's expert in that. Proper material transfer agreements, research agreements, and joint ventures. Important to see the scope, the territory. Is it for India, worldwide? What kind of intellectual property is based on? Confidentiality, the fees, the payment, the royalties, the warranties, indemnity clauses, term and termination, and the consequences of that. Barriers of transfer we have seen are, lack of awareness is one, lack of knowledge, lack of funds, conflict of interest could be there, poor communication, change in project structure. And I think somebody had spoken about this in the morning, that there is a gap of academia and industry, and it's important that this gap is bridged where the industry does go to the academia with their problems, and the academia, the students can help the industry in coming out with solutions to help the industry to cover their gaps there. Very briefly, how the IITs have fared on the monetization of their patents and intellectual property. I think IIT Madras, they have almost 11 crores in 2017-18 through IPR and royalties. IIT Bombay is 18 crores, IIT Delhi around 10, IIT Kharagpur 7.8, IIT Kanpur 4. So almost 52 crores in IIT revenues has come from IPR royalties. So that's a good number, but